it kind of feels like riding chainless. I'm out here today at Rockville and I'm demoing the OChain. I've been wanting to ride on one of these for quite some time, so I'm stoked to finally have it on the bike, give it a run through its paces. If you haven't heard about the OChain before, essentially it is an active spider. It mounts to your cranks along with a 104 BCD chainring, and it allows some movement in your cranks. And so that's supposed to isolate the chainline forces. It's supposed to give you a more chainless-like feel. So far, I can already tell it's working. I just got through the climb up, and shifting gears, I don't feel like that sudden jolt that would before maybe toss my feet around a little bit. So I know that there's some voodoo magic going on here. I'm running it in the 9 degree. This is the first generation, so your options are 6, 9, and 12 degrees of float. I do have an 18-tooth free hub in the rear, so it feels kind of similar to that pedaling up. If I had an instant engagement, I definitely would feel it more. But so far, it doesn't feel necessarily dull on the climb up, but I do feel it while shifting, so I'm really curious to see how it goes on the downs. First downhill on it, we'll see how it goes. So far, the bike does feel just a little different on the downs. I don't know if I could say it feels more efficient. It just kind of feels like it's gliding. See how it works up here. This is the section in particular oh my gosh. Wow, that's crazy. My feet are normally getting bounced all around through there. Same thing here, let's see. Oh, bad line. Wow, that's crazy. Holy moly. So lap 1 is done. I'm really struggling to put this into words. I feel like definitely the bike is quieter. You can tell that the chain line is just smoother overall. It's making less noise. I don't know if I'm perceiving that as it's being smoother as well. I definitely think it probably helps, but on 2 of those rock garden sections, I always feel like I'm just getting bounced around, like jostled. I'm kind of riding that line like my foot's about to pop off. But with this thing on, it just felt like I was gliding through those sections. So like those big like square edge hits and then those medium like sequential hits where you're just getting bounced around. It didn't feel like that, which was crazy. As far as getting on the pedals in this setup, because I've got the low engagement hub, it doesn't really feel any different. So right now, the only detriment I could say is maybe the rotational weight as you're pedaling, but first impression was, wow, there's definitely something happening. I called it voodoo magic earlier. I still feel like it's voodoo magic. Don't really know, but it's isolating chainline forces for sure, and it feels smoother. All right, we're dropping into lap 2. Rockville downhill this time around. Nice rocky sections with some flat pedally sections. Again, maybe 2 or 3 sections in particular I'm looking at. Wow, even that felt different. Wow. Under braking, it's like the first time I was like really hard braking. You can feel it. All right, dropping into Rockville downhill now. Flatter trail, a lot more bumps and rocks. It's just gliding. Wow, super overgrown. Bushes are catching me everywhere. This section here, it's carrying more speed. It has to. Gosh, it feels effortless across those rock garden sections. All right, here's the big one. I was really curious to see. It's not hanging up at all. Wow, this is crazy. I almost feel like my feet are coming off because I'm used to the forces of the chain line smacking into them. So it almost, it kind of feels like riding chainless, especially in those situations, because when you ride chainless, your feet will just blow off the pedals because there's no resistance, there's no active forces keeping them there. Small adjustment, and I feel like this is This is gonna be the setup. No surprise why all the World Cup guys are running it. It just feels amazing. Woo! Bit squirrely there. Wow. Gosh, under braking, it feels so crazy. All right, lap 2 is done. I definitely felt the emphasis on the braking on lap 2. First off, hit that left-hander, went downhill into that sharp 45-degree right. The bike just felt more active. That's the only way I can describe it. It felt like it wasn't getting hung up. It felt like it was gliding into corners better. Yeah, those medium-sized extended rock gardens that normally like I'll just get kind of hung up in, those square edge hits, it almost feels like they're eliminated. It feels like I'm gliding. It feels like I'm going faster. I'll have to check Strava later. I'm not really sure. I don't think that like my times are going to be insane, but I just feel like the bike works better. All those things that you can change with your riding style and your braking performance, all that stuff, this elevates all those things. So sick. Sick. Wow, it feels effortless. Trail 3 over. I'm definitely starting to adjust to how this thing feels. I did have 2 pedally sections there. I felt the play in the cranks as I was going to pedal. Not the end of the world. I think over time, I'll definitely adjust to that. Those big compressions that I had after I was on that slab on Coyote, they felt really supple and smooth. I felt composed and in control. Overall, really enjoying this thing. If anything, it makes the forces that you encounter on the trail less harsh, which means smoother ride, overall more comfort. So that alone, I think, would probably sell me on it, but the ride characteristics as well, the braking and the way that it just glides over things, it's gonna be really hard to go back. On your right. Feet normally get bounced off there. They didn't. See how it feels through here. Nice, usually some jarring brake forces there. None. See how this feels. Again, smooth. Wow. Just smoother. That's all there is to it. It's just a smoother ride. All right, that's it. What can I say about the OChain? Makes your bike quieter. It works better in rock gardens, and I feel like it carries more speed overall just because it's not getting hung up. It's not going to jostle your feet around as much, so if your feet are getting bounced around, you're a flat pedal rider, you may benefit from this. Obviously, there's going to be some bikes out there that would benefit more from an OChain. I'm running a high pivot bike, not necessarily as much of an issue, but definitely still have those moments when my feet are getting bounced off, and today my feet didn't get bounced off at all. I do like wearing flats. I like the benefit of just being able to drop a foot really quickly. I think that the OChain is something that is highly beneficial for anybody who is going to run flats, has a bike that's got a lot of chain growth. If you're really into that instant engagement, the slop may be a little bit funky for you. I'm used to it already. I said earlier I'm running an 18-tooth rear hub, so it doesn't really matter too much to me. I feel like that small weakness in the system is worth it for all of the gains on the back end. This device is about $300 for the N. I know a lot of them with the quick adjustment on the front are like $340. Is it worth it? Maybe not as a first upgrade on your bike, but if you're trying to look for that chainless feel, you want to get a bit of smoother ride quality, I definitely consider running the OChain.